Hey, Nestor, that's a great analogy. In fact, it does feel like that. It feels like another shot at the glory, so to speak, and we're all feeling it on stage, and we feel it, within the brotherhood of the band, and then we also feel it back from the crowd, who's been very emotional and dancing the whole time, and showing up. So the tour's been amazing so far.
Was there deep thoughts ever when you were in the middle of this as to what it would look like when you were at this point in your life? Like, I go to see U2. I went and saw the Stones earlier this summer, and there are so few bands that have held the whole band together. You know what I mean? Like Rush, just a handful of bands. I saw Styx in Ocean City. They have different members. It's such a difficult thing, that brotherhood that you started in South Carolina 30 years ago, that where you are in your lives, to bring it back together, that's kind of a rare, neat, wonderful thing unto itself. But more than that, the kind of joy you bring to people, because your music was always like that.
Yeah, I mean, when we started off, we all set this goal of like, hey, we want to do this for a living. We want to make music for a living on whatever level capacity we can. And so even when we separate to do other things, we're all still musically involved. All the stuff I did while we were off was still based around music and everything. So it's easy for us to get back together based on that. At any given moment in the rest of our careers and the rest of our future, we can come back together and do this at any time. And that's a wonderful feeling that we sort of set ourselves in that course early, like, hey, we're going to have a career doing what we love, making music.
Well, I guess everybody on the outside would look and say, well, Darius was doing that, and everybody saw that. And other people would say, well, what are the other guys doing? Where's the behind the music and all of that stuff involved in all of that? There was never a blow up in any sort of brotherhood. As I remember, and I saw Darius sort of alluded to it in the Rolling Stone thing, you guys were playing smaller venues, and, I mean, dare I say, you were so huge you became unhip somehow, which is the ultimate badge of honor. You were so successful that there's nowhere to go but down from there, unless you're the Rolling Stones, literally, right?
Yeah, and so we decided it was time to take a little break, and did, and it was the best thing for everybody at the time, and then now we decided to have another run at it, make an album, and go on tour, and it feels right now. So, we're just kind of going with the flow like we always have.
Tell me about the new album, and tell me where you are and what am I going to expect. I mean, I saw the Colbert thing, and I go out and see a little YouTube snip here and again. I know you guys are still on your game and all that, but it's a retro thing, but it's not really, because you got new music too you want to share, right?
Yeah, we haven't released a single yet, but we finished recording full-length album in May, and so we've been mixing that and trying to get a single started here and try to do a release of the album later this year. So it's been fun as hell to get back into that process, the creative part of it, and I love studio work, and so we spent the last year writing and recording, and it's been amazing to get back into that process, especially with the guys and doing our thing again, where no matter what we try, it always just comes out sounding like Hootie, which is great. We had a lot of fun with it.
Well, that's what we're hoping,
Yeah, we must have written, 60 or 70 songs, and we cut 18 of them. It's exciting, man.
Well, from where you are at this point in your life, I know the things I talk about, the things I write about, the things I think about, the things I put on the show. I mean, I'm doing a whole thing trying to save the city up here, which we've had some problems, as you know, Mark. But, I mean, you guys were writing about race and relations in the South and the North and love and long-term relationships when you might not even have known what a lot of that stuff was, back in your 20s.
Yeah, no, you're right. We had a young perspective on it at the time, and now the stuff we write now obviously comes from a more mature place. I mean, just naturally. And we've also done more co-writing recently than we've done in the past, which is cool. So there's other writers involved with some of our stuff, and it's not always our sentiment. Sometimes we're co-writing with somebody else who might have come up with an idea that we wouldn't have thought of. So there's some of that going on, and that's cool too. So the album will be a nice mix of what we write, your classic Hootie type of stuff, and then whatever we're co-writing now with other writers. And so it has another wrinkle to what we do, and it's fun. We enjoy it.
Mark Bryan is a guitar player for Hootie and the Blowfish. They're playing 4 shows in the area, a bunch of shows all summer long. I hope you continue to fire the bus up and keep coming out. And I know, speak to Darius's Nashville journey and country music and where that is, because you guys were never far off the path of that. REM was never really too far off the path of that and always sort of meandered to that. And I think there's something about being Southern. And I don't know if you knew this. My mom was from South Carolina, Abbeville, South Carolina, so I knew the roads over to Columbia and those southern roads and the low country and the dining and all that Charleston represents now that maybe it didn't 20 or 25 years ago. But, I would just think where you guys are in writing songs right now and putting this together. Darius comes back to this project. You all come back differently, but he comes back with a real different perspective, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question there's a southern sound, that comes through the bands that you mentioned earlier, and we're one of those. And it can easily cross over to country, like you said. And, the Hootie's always been more from the rock background, but you're right about the easy crossover. So sometimes we'll write a song that sounds more country, and other times we'll write a song that sounds more rock, and we just don't really think too much about it. We just make the songs that sound right, feel right to us. Darius can sing anything. I mean, we can do reggae. It doesn't matter. He can sing anything we want to try. So we just make the songs that sound right to us, and then we let the powers that be decide where to put it on the radio later. That's sort of out of our control.
Dude, you guys were always like a bar band, ripping out any Stone Temple Pilots cover you felt like. On any given night, you guys were as likely to play Use Me as you were to rip out a Stones cover or something. I mean, it was always sort of there because that was sort of your background. Your background was y'all loved rock music and classic rock music and sort of came from the same cloth as some R&B in there a little bit too.
Without a doubt. And then the Southern thing sneaks in with I started playing mandolin, and that was definitely influenced by R.M., by Peter Buck playing mandolin in a rock band and letting me know, hey, you can do that, and it works.
Holsapple had nothing to do with it, though, right?
No, and he's a big influence as well. And it's so fun because when we do Losing My Religion, we tell everybody in the crowd, hey, this is the guy that played the acoustic guitar part on the damn album, people.
I want to interview Holsapple. I've never had Holsapple. Can you talk him into having 2 beers and coming on my show with me and just telling some stories?
Oh, of course. He would do it in a heartbeat, dude. I thought he would be so.
Holsapple's a legend, dude. I mean, all those nights with REM and that. I mean, he's the glue that holds the whole. He's the Dylan sitting on the fence, isn't he? Right, a little bit.
Yeah, well, he is he's a big influence to a lot of people, that's for sure. And bands like REM and us, he's somebody we could rely on as a multi-instrumentalist, which, as anybody can tell you that's tried, that is not an easy thing to be. And he can like just effortlessly cross between, keyboard, guitar, mandolin, bass, lap steel, whatever you put in front of him, and harmonica. I mean, he probably plays 10 instruments. And so that's a huge credit to him as a musician and just as a person who, just like I was saying earlier, who chose a career with what he loves. And he's been very diligent about it, and he's an amazing person and an amazing musician because of it. And,
see, how many people ask you about Holsapple? Nobody asks you. Holsapple's the forgotten REM, the forgotten Hootie and the Blowfish member,
No,
right?
I mean, you're right, like on one level, just because he's a little undersung, but people ask about him all the time, and he is actually really well known in any music circle. Everybody knows exactly who you're talking about. And you can tell like the guys from Bare Naked Ladies are like honored to be on the stage with him and that kind of stuff. So it's like he's highly respected in the music community, as he should be. But I think you should talk to him. I think that would be a really cool interview because he's probably not used to talking to a sports guy, and you're not probably used to having like a multi-instrumental.
See, you've pigeonholed me into being a sports guy. That would have been like pigeonholing Darius into just being in a rock band, right?
Oh, that's my bad.
You're not allowed to do that, Mark.
I thought you were doing a sports show. My bad.
Well, I mean, I was gonna get to all that, but I mean, I figured we had deeper thoughts here when you guys just like evaporated on me for a decade. Right now, you're gonna come back, and I got to go shake my ass all summer. I got to hydrate because I'm gonna sweat, right? Because that's the way it is.
No,
I mean,
we do have a deeper background in that, and you've always gone deeper, and I've always appreciated that. It's always been fun to be able to talk sports and music with you, so that's cool.
Well, I mean, certainly for me, it is a thrill that you're coming back at. You know, during my wife's illness, we were trying to get down to Charleston. You guys got together every summer. I mean, you weren't like a typical band that was like the Stones we'll see in 5 years or 10 years, and Darius is doing his thing. Darius always came back to the Hootie thing once a year. You guys had a party down in Charleston. I'm embarrassed that I haven't been down there. I had flights. I had hotel rooms. Things happen. You know, cancer happens. Weird stuff happens. So we're just delighted you're going to show up down in Merriweather. Here shortly, but you guys have never been far from each other, and certainly the golf thing, the Tiger thing, the charity thing has always been a glue that's held Hootie and the Blowfish together, even if you're not out on a tour bus somewhere in Denver, right?
That's right, yeah. I mean, the brotherhood, as I mentioned earlier, is intact, and all of the sort of annual charity events that we started, we honor those and keep those rolling annually, which is, I think, other than scheduling, pretty easy for everybody to do. It's a no-brainer for all four of us.
How much golf you guys playing on this tour? Be honest with me.
I'm playing a lot. Darius and I are playing as much as we can, both of us. And barring a couple little minor knee injuries that he and I both have sore knees, but other than that, we're playing probably 2 or 3 days a week. And so that's been fun. We got an ongoing bet. And
who's winning?
And well, he's up 3 holes on me.
You guys are very competitive. I mean, then they're both similar golfers.
I might have evened him up the last time we played. We weren't in the same group, but I gave him my card, so he's going to let me know. He has to give me strokes, though. He's an 8 handicap or 6 or something like that, and I'm a 13. So
he is a better golfer on average. So when you beat him, you feel really good about it.
He is, yeah. He's better, so I've got to show up.
How did that thing happen? I mean, now we're on the sports thing. Like, did you grow up loving golf in Silver Spring with your dad? I mean, I feel like I know your dad. I've been backstage and so I haven't seen him in forever.
I'm from Montgomery Village, and we had a golf course right there in Montgomery Village, and my dad was a member, and I played there growing up a little bit, and but I worked there, like picking balls out of the range and everything. And then I didn't really start playing regularly till like college or just after college. And then I got really into it and took a lesson and everything, and got my swing to a place where I got to like a 10 handicap, and then just kind of let it go over the years and only play about once a month until this tour. And now I'm back to playing like 2 or 3 times a week, and I love it.
So, I mean, the thrill for you, I mean, you guys have played Augusta, right? I mean, you've played Pebble Beach. You've played the places you dreamed about.
I got to play 3 dream courses last week. I played Pebble, Cypress Point, and Monterey Peninsula Club. They were all amazing.
All in the middle of the tour, and you set it up as like a tour expense. I love, man. This is where you get ahead when you're 50. You things you didn't know when you were 25, driving around in the VW bus, right?
You got it right.
Trying to get over to Athens and play the 40 Watt Club.
I knew what I know now.
When I was younger. Mark Bryan here from Hootie and the Blowfish. They're playing locally. Group Therapies, the tour, the new album's coming out. Darius is singing beautifully. Mark's playing beautifully. Dean, Sony, the band, whole Sapple, everybody together. But the Redskins are still broken, right? I mean, literally, since the last time you and I got together, you've had to watch me parade around twice with a trophy. It's crazy, right?
I mean, I actually, it's not reciprocal with this whole Ravens-Redskins thing.
It's
Ravens
not.
fans don't like Redskins fans, but I'm a Redskins fan that likes the Ravens. I have no problem with. I grew up an Orioles fan, so why am I going to hate on the Ravens? And so congrats to you guys. Yeah, the Redskins are broken, and so are the Orioles. Both of my 2 favorite teams are broken.
Did you adopt the Nationals or no? Not at all?
I need the Gamecocks to beat Alabama this fall and Georgia back-to-back to have. That's going to be
That's not going to happen.
Where my year takes a big turn. That's what's going to happen because I'm not looking for anything from Orioles or from the Redskins right now.
But why didn't you take in the Nationals? I mean, you could have done that easily. You're a Silver Spring guy. I mean, everybody else in your neighborhood did, right?
The Nats are my NL team for sure. And I know that, they've got a good squad and they've got some good pitching, and I admire the Nats, but I grew up an Orioles fan. I can't just make the full switch, But I do like them all.
It's easier to forget the Orioles when they're going to lose 110 games every year for 5 years, right? I mean,
exactly.
are you even? I mean, look. I do sports media for a living, and you notice the first 15 minutes, I would really rather talk about group therapy and the tour and the band and your golf game and, Sony's changes in life and where Dean is in parenting. I'd rather talk about that. I'd rather talk the whole sapple than talk about the Orioles at this point. Are you gone, or where are you on the baseball thing? Because, you were hardcore. So was I. We were all hardcore at one point, right?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty gone. Mostly because I've just been focusing on making that album over the last year, and now I'm focusing on the tour, and I just kind of stopped worrying about all that kind of stuff for a little bit. But whenever I peek my head back into it, they hadn't given me anything to look towards, so I just kind of am gone right now. But I always start watching again in the fall, no matter who's playing, and I watch through the World Series and everything.
Yeah, you keep talking about the new album and diving in. Look, I've written 4 books. I've been in this project of doing all this stuff where I've sifted through these phone calls you made to me back in 96 and 97 and 98. We're presenting those this week as well as part of our nostalgia. And Billy Joel's coming to town. We have long-form interviews with him and Bon Jovi and all this other stuff. But where you are in your life right now, what's relevant to you right now, to your family, to the tour, to your health, to your golf game and all of that, there's nothing above like doing work that you love, right? Like, and you talked
That's
about
right. So, like,
strumming the guitar and writing songs, like literally,
yeah,
right?
when I sort of found free time over the last year and a half, I've spent it, journaling, trying to finish song ideas that I've started over the last 5 years or so. And then when I get songs to a certain place, demoing, spending like an afternoon getting a good version of a song to present to the band, that kind of stuff. Which is a lot of work and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's like taking an idea and bringing it to fruition. It's a full circle thing. And like I said, we did that process for maybe 60 or 70 songs over the last year. So that's been how I spent my time, and I absolutely love it. And now you do the reverse side of that, which is go out on tour and try to play them. And so, it's that, try to bring that same energy back to and get it on stage. And so I'm loving that part of the process too right now.
I know everybody asked you the tough question, but where was the moment when this happened? You know what I mean? Like, at what drink, at what golf course, at what point? Because you get together every year together, and Darius is doing his thing, and everybody's off doing their thing to make lives come together and to put the band back together. Literally, that's a phrase. Put the band back together.
Well, I think we all knew we wanted to do it again, make another record and tour again. It just was a question of when, and Darius's career was going so well solo, there's no reason for him to stop that momentum. Like whenever you have that momentum, you keep it going no matter who you are. And so we applauded him doing that for sure. And then it got to the point where, was he going to do a 6th album, or is it time to do a Hootie album? And it just so happened that this year's the 25th anniversary of Cracked Review, so we sort of said, well, that's the timing is right, and everybody felt like it was right. So here we go.
Well, man, I was going through my ticket stubs, my memories, my pictures, my casino chips, the night the Tiger Woods blew me off at your party, all the memories that I have, and the beers and the cheers. I want you to play the Hootie Dream set list for me. You know what I mean? Mix in a couple of covers, a little I'm Over You. You know what I mean? Do some stuff here and make it an awesome summer for everybody.
You're on the right track, bro. You're going to love it.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I shout out I'm Over You, maybe I can sneak that into one of these 4 shows. I'm going to be chasing you guys around like a summer groupie at 50 or what?
About maybe a scattered, smothered, and covered song being popped in there for sure.
All right. Well, I will wait. How about this until I see you guys to know what the set list is going to be? Is that good?
You will wait, and it'll pay off. It'll be a payoff for you.
All right, man. I could sit here and pun away and quote your lyrics and have fun with you because you know what a goofy fan I am, and I appreciate you enduring me and our friendship over the last 25 years. Hey, make it fun for us. I will be hydrated. You play the songs. We'll bring the barbecue. You bring the party, and it's going to be a great summer. I need a little group therapy. It's time for that, Mark Bryan.
Absolutely, Nestor, and thank you for your time today, and give your wife my best, and we'll see you guys in a month or so.
Give my best to all the guys in the band. Hootie and the Blowfish, Mark Bryan, been our friend for a quarter of a century, Maryland guy. Nothing wrong with him. Maryland guy that's a South Carolina guy, that's a Redskin guy, that's an Oriole guy, and we'll be if they ever come back again. He plays a lot better golf than I do these days. You can find everything you want to know about Hootie and the Blowfish out on their Twitter, out on the tour, and where they're going to be, including Merriweather, Hershey, if you miss them, down at Jiffy Lube or up at Camden a little later on. We are doing nostalgia and rock stuff here, and even mixing in some live 2019 stuff, memory lane, the past, the present, but all Hall of Famers. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.